I did read that you guys had a little turmoil amongst you guys
Oh,
as well.
massive,
And I just wanted to,
massive.
because I mean that's a dynamic of a band, especially.
Yeah.
I'm curious as I'm learning more about you guys and how similar it is that you guys were
Yeah.
friends from even before. I I want to know, is this like the alternate universe in Australia where you guys have like the same dynamic going on over there?
Yeah, we'll see. So basically, like the to start with, like the oh God, where do I even begin?
You said
I'll
you
give you an
said we got
idea.
time. You said we got time.
Yeah, we do. So I'll tell you about writing the album first. So um, the core writing group, there's only three of us that actually write.
Mhm.
It's our drummer Ben, Jeff, our lead guitarist, and myself.
Okay.
Luke is our manager. He just handles management at this point in time and helps out with like some creative direction here and there. And Jaya, our bass player, just plays bass, and he literally went off and built a house like in the woods over COVID. So like I saw him like twice in
It's
two
kind of
years.
rad too, though. I mean, I just go
Oh,
off
so
of that.
rad. It's
That's
nuts, man.
fucking. I love
It's
that.
fucking nuts. It's cool. But like essentially, like we started writing about 6 months into COVID, like running up to it. Before COVID happened, we were like, next year we're going to take a year off. We're not going to do anything because we haven't had a year off since the band started. We're burnt out as
Hmm.
hell. And then COVID happened, and we're like, all right, we're all stuck here. Let's just take this time off. And then after 6 months, we were just like, feel like just doing some music. So we started just jamming because we figured we'd get a jump on writing a record, and it was fun. Like everyone was, we knew tour wasn't coming back. Like, and we spent about 6 months doing that, and then um, we realized that it was like at that point in time, you're like, COVID is here for years. We're not getting out of this country for a couple of years. Like, even
Hmm.
if we could go on tour, it's not going to happen within at least minimum 12 months. Um, and that put us in a very different mindset for writing because essentially like the tour right cycle, like
Hmm.
it's
It's
a
the
very it's
it's a never ending story.
yeah, never ending story, like and as soon as you finish touring you go back into writing mode and vice versa. But this time we're like, you're writing with no prospect of tour. Like there's nothing. Like all your tours have been rescheduled 3 times over at this point in time, and you've given up rescheduling because COVID's killing everything. So you have an infinite amount of time to write a record. So what are you going to write? And basically we're like, well, we want to push it further than anything we've done before. Like we know the elements of what we do that we like, that we really want to have as a basis point. But from there, we're going to spread those branches out as far as we can go. And there's no excuse for not like really articulating that vision because there's no time limit on it. So
Right.
like if you don't know how to articulate a piece of your imagination, just figure it out in that time. So that's kind of what we started doing, just jamming around with things. Um, and the first year of writing it was good because there was no pressure or anything. That was great. And then rolling into the second year, we're like, we could kind of get the idea that COVID was going to end. And we're like, maybe we should book in the studio. And we started figuring out that we had an approximate timeline. We are like, in 12 months, we're going to start recording. Um, and things started like coming together a bit more. But 12 months of writing for us, like it leads you down this, for certain people took it in different ways, but like we all had different stuff going on in our personal lives. But for
Hmm.
Jeff especially, he's very the way his mind operates is like he's a perfectionist in terms of the riffs that he writes and what he puts down musically. And the problem with perfectionism is that is a changing goalpost.
Oh yeah,
Perfectionism is perspective.
and
So
especially with an open ended time limit.
that is the thing. And like in our brain, we're like infinite time, zero pressure, fucking rad. The reality of what that was became like, is this good enough? And that was just a constant thing of just like, oh, I don't know if this riff's good enough. Like I don't know if this song is good enough. I'm like, Like, well, a month ago it was good enough. Why is it not good enough now? I'm like, I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing, and ending up on
Wow.
this loop of like rewriting just one song, like 30 times, like an entire song, like, and then scrapping it and rewriting it again, scrapping it, rewriting it again, chasing perfection, which was changing because familiarity. All of a sudden, you listen to something 30 times over, and you're like, and now I'm kind of bored with it. And you're like, yeah, because you've heard it 30 times. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have the same impact. So don't rewrite it. Just accept that that's what it is and write something new. So this cycle started off up where it was like it was difficult to like to break new ground in directions that we wanted and keep a perspective of what the goal actually was, which led to like tensions within myself and him because like I'm writing songs over and over and over again, like lyrics over and over. And I'm like, what the fuck am I even writing for? There's no, there's a, this is something is this the song? Is this not the song? I just spent a week writing this thing and now it's not even a song anymore. Fuck. So
Yeah.
it was basically that spiraling worse and worse and worse in terms of keeping the whole concept of what the sonic thing that which we were creating, which ended up exactly what we wanted, which was great, but basically just like the process just took a fucking hammer to our relationship within the band over the process of creating it, and us just holding it together. Like the I feel like we all knew the goal and we had that quite well articulated and knew how to get there. We just didn't have the healthiest way of getting there
Right.
in the end, basically.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, like that's part of it when you're writing with somebody else, and
yeah,
I know that that could be butting heads or just the monotonous of it. Like they're just
it just is what it is, and it's
yeah,
not like it's also all of it was also fueled by COVID. Like at this point in time as well, like Jeff handles like we record in his studio in his house, so he is in an environment where he essentially is not escaping from work. Like when he just goes upstairs back to his family, and we were
right.
locked down in our homes, and he's got two infant children who are sick, and he's also caring for his mother-in-law and trying to write a record during a pandemic. Like none of it
Fuck.
was a very healthy environment for him. And at the same point in time as well, this is all laid onto a dynamic of like it was 17 years of bad communication and bad like mental growth within the band. Like we never like that go attitude of survival which we had from the word go. Um, we never took the time to address anything. We never took the time to validate each other or actually do a lot of healthy like mental health work and growth as we went. We just kind of like slapped band-aids on these cracks as it went and just didn't
Right.
acknowledge them for the sake of just that drive being in that
Right. You got to get to the
record
goal.
tour.
Fuck it. Fuck it all. We got to get to the goal.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's exactly it. You're just like, we'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it later. And it just pushed so hard that we got to this point in the studio where like the cracks happened and the like the at the end of it we were like, congratulations, we've all achieved exactly what we wanted in this record. We can't fault that. But the cracks that are now there, we have to acknowledge because like we're now at a place where we know we have to confront what is going on here and why it's there if we want this to continue. So we're like, who wants to continue? And everyone wanted to, but we're like, not like this. So the next project for us is how do we figure out to like to be friends and be humans and
Mm.
play 17 years of catch up and figure out why this has come to this point, which is what we've done and what we're doing, and it's really rad, which is great.
And
So
now,
yeah.
are you guys seeking outside help with that? I mean, I
Oh
know,
yeah,
yeah,
no. So we basically like
because I
we've
know
been
some kind of
really open.
monster. Everyone got to
Well,
see Metallica do it.
100%. And that's
So
like as soon as it started happening, we're like, we some kind of monstering this thing, like
yeah,
shit. But to be real, like we had as soon as Luke was we had a couple of meetings and it was literally five people sitting down or even 4, because Jai was excluded at this point in time. We were just like, whatever. Like, he doesn't write songs. He's just fucking playing on stage. We haven't seen him in ages. He's not even in on this. And it was just 5 guys going,
Wow.
I do this and I do this, and you make me feel like that. And someone else going, yeah, well, I do this and I do this, and you make me feel like that, around and around and around. And it got nowhere. And luckily, Luke was like, we need someone outside of this circle to give us direction. We need help to know what's going on here because this isn't working. And he found a couple of awesome people, and that's what we've been doing. We literally rocked up to band counseling and band therapy, and that's where we've approached it. And that's been it. And that's what we're still doing. And it's been really good because it has been explaining, like, it's been breaking down 17 years of stuff that you just like pushed under the carpet, stuff that you didn't even know about your best friends. Like, how did that traumatic experience that we went through like 10 years ago at this location, like in a tour van or backstage or something, affect you? Because it affected me like this and I never told anyone. And how did that affect you? I never even realized that. I never asked. We never asked, like,
Yeah.
are you doing okay? Like, is this taking a toll on you? How is this on your home life? Like, what's the impact of this band actually like on you as a person? None of that was ever talked about. It was just like, things are going pretty well, just don't rock the boat. And as
Right.
soon as you start doing that work, you realize the real impact that this has actually had on our lives. And yeah, it's really deep, and it's been really awesome being able to reconnect with like my best friends in a way that's deeper than anything we've ever had at any point in time previously, because we never had the emotional like depth or growth to be able to do that. And at the same point in time, we've wanted to be really open about this journey and what we're actually doing. There's been no bullshit in anything we've put out. It's been literally like, we're putting out an announcement that things aren't working in the band, and it's because of very personal reasons, and we're going to go do work on it. And when you ask us what that work is, we're like, we need to go to band therapy. We need someone to help us because we can't help ourselves at this point. And hopefully set an example for other people, and especially other men in our society, to go and talk to someone else other than your friends, because it's having someone there to support you as a friend is very different from having someone there to try and explain things which you can't wrap your head around for whatever reason in this fucked up crazy world, because it's a fucked up crazy world, man. Sometimes you need a perspective other than the person right next to you, living you, who probably has the same walls up that you do, that just validates your experience, that can help you actually understand and grow, because that's where the value lies. And hopefully we're providing a pathway for other people to be able to feel okay with doing that as well.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it's so cool to hear you say that. I mean, again, shout out, props, whatever you want to say to Metallica, who kind of made it. I mean, at
Yeah,
first,
dude.
when they did that 15 years ago, it's been
Yeah.
now, everyone was like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? And now it's like,
Yeah.
once again, just like when Lars came out and said Napster's gonna fuck with shit, everyone went,
Yeah,
oh, what a
man.
dick. And then now that it's like,
Yep.
oh yeah, it fucked with shit. And then it's like, oh, why would a band need that?
Yep.
Oh, it's it's like they knew
Yeah.
it. They knew it. They'd been doing
And
it
you
a couple years longer than us at that point, right? So,
Yeah, that's it. And they had the guts to put it out there as well. Like,
mhm,
that's the thing. And to be honest, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, set an example. Like, the thing is, we're like, we literally reference that. We're like,
right.
are we doing that same thing? But at the same point in time, it validates, hey, even like the most successful, the biggest, the greatest need this kind of thing. And if it's okay for them, then it's okay for us. And
More
hopefully,
than
like,
okay. I mean, what
yeah,
is it? It's and I don't mean to say more than okay, but like just to further like to expand if I can on it. I think what you
I'm,
touched upon is great. Men in our society, and I've been in therapy since 2013 after touring without our late drummer, my best friend, and
yeah,
talking about those walls that you build up and stuff, how that affected us differently. We were able to talk about that, and luckily that was a turning point in our band that really helped us and only made us stronger. You would never want to have to
yeah,
do that, but it did. And at the end of the day, another thing you pointed to is when big events happen, how did that affect you, and how did that affect you even though you were still in the same band and everything? What about the other things that are like a casual joke or a
Yep.
ribbing or something saying like, well,
Yep.
you don't really matter. And it might have been a joke, but how did that make you feel in the van? Because we could go all the way back to the fucking
100%.
van days on shit like that.
Oh, 100%, man. And our this ties back into exactly where we started this, and it's going. We started from nothing.
Mm,
Not only did we start from nothing, we started with the perception that we will never be anything,
right.
and that if we're all going to be equal, we're going to be equally nothing together. So, especially in Australia, like Australian society, we have this thing called the tall poppy syndrome. Like, are you familiar with that?
I'm not, no.
Okay, so it's a well like it's literally like a hallmark of Australian society. It's the concept of the tall poppy that grows up higher than the other poppies in the field, and because it's higher, it immediately gets cut down. So to to show a self confidence I'm going to say self confidence or any kind of ego or any kind of success in our country is often seen to like if you go, I'm pretty good at what I do, I'm a successful musician, people will go, you're a fucking wanker,
Right.
and they'll pull you down. Like it's very different to America in the sense of like a public celebration of someone's success of like, yeah, you go that, you do that, you earn that. It's just like you're full of yourself. Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a massive trait in our society. Like it's the way that everyone is brought up, which is essentially breeding insecurity into everyone from a very early age. And that's the way we grew up in our band. Like we just tore each other down. We were just like, everyone's replaceable. We're all shit. Like we honestly, for the first 10 years of our band's existence, like we got to like almost arena status, and we were still like interviews were coming up and people were like, so like, what's the secret? Why are you guys still doing things? And we go, we don't know. We're idiots. We don't even know how to play our instruments.
Right.
Like complete bullshit, complete fucking fabrication. We know what we're doing. We practice hard. We play
It's that
hard. We write with intent.
self-deprecation, to
It's
try and make it
self-deprecation.
so that you could
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, even not knowing that term from Australia, I could attest that we're a pack of wolves amongst each other too. Like
Yeah.
we're soon, like you don't fuck with us, but like no one else can say that shit. But like amongst us, like
But we
one
can.
dude leaves the room, we're all talking shit on that one dude who just
Yeah.
left the room.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
but like not even in. Sometimes it's not even mean. It's funny, but it's
Yeah.
like. But then like they come back in the room and then you're gone. And if you think for whatever reason you just left the dressing room and you're not getting shit talked on you,
Yeah.
you're getting shit talked on you.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, we it was just quite toxic with that. Like and it just there was a lot of that kind of band dynamic that it was just taken for granted that what it was, but it didn't
Right.
actually need to be there. No one wanted it there. It was just the only way we knew how to socialize and with each other, I guess.
Do you think it's
And
a way to kind of try to keep everybody humble in a way too, though? You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, we told ourselves that that was what it was, but you can be humble and not be a dick. And it
Yeah.
was just like, and that's like part of it,
You
like
gotta find that
the
balance.
yeah, it's about striking that balance. It's about intention,
Mhm.
because like it's a fine line to walk with when you bring into account all the other emotions of like fucking fear and jealousy and all of those other things, because that just weasels its way in quite easily. And it's I don't know, it's when you build something off an insecure base in the first place, I think there's a lot more potential for that insidiousness to come in, because the fear is there. Like the fear is always there. Like a lot of it was just it was built on the fear of this. Like our first 10 years of the band's existence and the way we went so hard and so unrelenting was the fear that like this can all disappear. Like this can all it takes is you not turning up to one gig and you never get a gig again in your life. Like imposter syndrome. Why are you here? Like not there's not many other bands doing this thing. Why are you the one doing it? Like
Right.
it's all there. And then especially like yeah, coming from the place we've come from, and you kind of just you don't expect anything, and when you don't expect anything and then you treat each other also like nothing, you wonder why uh those more negative aspects creep in. It's like, well, you left a massive gap there.
Right.
like like you mess up that's a massive void there because you didn't have like a sense of positive like self-image or affirmation or anything like that because of whatever it was to do with like your society that you're in.